This week, Ruth returns to the Tasburgh Hotel to check up on the air hostess with no head for business.
Oh, God, that makes me want to vomit. You have got to separate your emotional feelings from this business. Hate the best. Okay, this is the point where I want to tear my hair out. Insane.
And 18 months on, is the business flying high or has it been grounded?
Are the bank happier?
This is the Tasburgh House Hotel, a stone's throw from the historic and desirable city of Bath. It has a glamorous hostess, a talking parrot, 5 diamonds, and many awards. In fact, this hotel has everything except guests. Meet retired air hostess Sue Keeling.
From about the age of 11, I wanted to be an air hostess and see the world and then own a small hotel.
When she bought the Tasburgh with her husband 10 years ago, business was booming.
First 3 years, we were making a profit.
She immediately launched into a campaign to transform the hotel from down market to high class, with the emphasis on quality. The hotel was given a literary theme, each room named after a famous author with its own finely dressed teddy bear to represent them. And awards followed profit. But as the hotel prospered, Sue's marriage floundered, and after 30 years came to an end.
The worst of all was having just bought out my ex-husband, doubled the mortgage, and then within a couple of months, 9/11 happened.
As American guests had been the mainstay of her business, the loss was devastating. In recent times, the Tasburgh has become more of a retirement home for literary bears than a prosperous hotel. The bears outnumber the guests, but it seems no one wants to come to the picnic.
The hotel costs around £450 a day. Last year we made a loss of over £8,000. The situation is rather dire.
With such punishing overheads and 3 staff, the numbers simply don't add up. The banks had enough, and with the critical meeting looming in 3 short months, time is running out. Unless some improvement is seen, Tasburgh's days could be numbered. Enter Ruth Watson, award-winning hotelier and acclaimed businesswoman. It's her job to pinpoint where Sue is going so desperately wrong and rescue this damsel in distress. But if Ruth's going to be able to save Sue's flagging dream, she'll need her to take evasive action.
Good afternoon.
You have the most beautiful front door.
Thank you. You must be Ruth.
I am.
Lovely
Hi.
to meet
What do
you.
you do?
Thank you so much for coming.
Well,
The first thing Ruth wants to do is sit her down to find out the severity of the situation.
Susan, you've got some troubles, I hear.
Yes. My occupancy level has been around 42%.
And why do you think that is?
Well, there is obviously a significant difference since 9/11. Prior to that, I was filled by about 65% of Americans.
Right. I'll accept some of what you said about 9/11, not all of it, I have to tell you here and now. Just being in the town earlier on today, the amount of visitors that you have got, there is no reason on earth why your occupancy should be as low as it is. What do you think about your rates? Do you think they're fair for the area or fair for what you're providing? How do
Yes,
you
I
see
do.
them?
That they reflect the cost that or the money I've spent in the rooms.
Have you got a database together?
Yes,
I
have.
So how many?
But I
names,
don't use
addresses?
it. I haven't used it.
You don't use it?
No.
Okay, this is the point where I want to tear my hair out. Insane. Absolutely insane.
It's not taken long for Ruth to uncover the first problem, Sue's complete lack of business sense. Most hoteliers keep a database of guests who've stayed in the past to target them for special offers and future business. It's a vital resource, but despite being almost empty, Sue's never used hers, wasting a great deal of potential trade.
Sue is an idealist.
And Sue will not rule with her head, she will rule with her heart.
So maybe the greatest strength and the greatest weakness is the same.
Sue's utopian vision has been at the expense of any practical business principles. With the scale of the problems all too obvious, Ruth's going on a reconnaissance mission around the hotel. The Tasburgh has 12 bedrooms, an elegant drawing room, a breakfast room and a conservatory. But it's the bedrooms that Ruth heads for first. Each is themed around a famous literary author, and they're not cheap, starting at around £110 a night. Today, all 12 are vacant.
This is obviously the family room. I think this is £170 a night. This is not £170 worth of bathroom. In fact, how the hell 4 people could abloot in here, I don't know. We're talking cupboard size. Now, this is a problem. This is a problem. We have another seriously scary teddy bear. You wouldn't want to wake up on a dark night with this by the side of you.
High prices and bears aside, the rooms are a good standard. The last room for inspection is the one she's due to stay the night in.
Oh, Mr. Teddy. Bit weird, I'm not in a children's playpen. Now that's a bit ludicrous, isn't it? If you're going to give someone sherry, give them a whole decanter. I mean, that's just a piss-poor effort, so it's just a meaningless gesture. This room is perfectly okay. The problem that she's got is she's charging too much for it.
Meanwhile, Sue is downstairs collecting her thoughts.
It's actually quite devastating. Well, I thought I had pretty thick skin, but actually I've just discovered it's pretty thin tonight.
As darkness descends on the Tasburgh, Sue must prepare herself for more of Ruth's findings. But how will she cope when the going gets tough?
I hate the presentation with a vengeance. I hate these pink blinds. I hate the bears.
It's day 2 of Ruth's investigation at the Tasburgh House Hotel in Bath.
Well, I've had one night's stay now at Tasburgh, and it's a pretty room. The bed's comfortable, the sheets are good. It's not bad at all, but where she's really letting herself down, and I think where the problem's coming with the prices she's charging, is in value for money.
Next on the agenda, breakfast, a pivotal offering in any guest house, especially one as expensive as the Tasburgh.
I think I've now overcome the fact that we have to open ourselves up to criticism, and the fact that she's in the dining room. We have displayed in there exactly as we would for our normal guests. So let's see what she has to say about it.
I just hate the presentation. I mean, I think she's really doing herself a disservice with this because it's so cruddy. I mean, it's like some horrible old tea shop Coca 1973, isn't it?
She's got such a lovely personality, hasn't she?
And I can't stand this. Sorry. See the water? It's fake.
Good morning, Ruth.
Hello,
How are you?
How are you?
Did you sleep well?
Yes, thank you very much. Yes,
good,
yes. It's
good,
very
good,
comfortable bed, lovely linen.
She's very kind, she slept well. I don't believe that.
But the orange juice isn't quite up to scratch.
It's not freshly squeezed.
She's going to have French toast with bacon and some syrup on the side, okay?
Bacon and some syrup on the side.
Lovely. There we go, Ruth.
Oh, gosh.
Hope you enjoy that.
Huge
There's
plate.
your coffee.
Thank you very much indeed.
Okay,
Tell me
enjoy it.
about this orange juice. Is it really out of oranges that you squeezed?
Yes.
Really?
No, I didn't squeeze them. They're
squeezed
freshly
them?
squeezed.
In a carton?
carton.
Yes,
Yes.
no.
Yes. How do you find it?
All right.
Only all right?
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to crack on
Okay,
with
we'll
this.
enjoy that while it's
Thank
hot.
you very much. Yes, thank you.
As the menu says the orange juice is freshly squeezed, some guests could be disappointed, especially given the high price of their rooms.
I went to get a piece of paper to make notes of what Ruth is suggesting. Then I decided perhaps a book of blank paper might be more appropriate than just one piece of paper. So I'm ready. I'm not going to be on the defensive, even though I feel I've got to perhaps bite my tongue several times over. I'm going to listen and take it on board.
I think the problem here is that some of it is really good. I think some of it's just adequate. I think we've got to actually reduce the prices so that this breakfast, whether it's freshly squeezed orange or not, comes in line with what people would expect for that kind of amount of money and would regard it as good value.
It's time for Ruth to present her verdict to Sue in the hotel's conservatory, which is the first item on the agenda.
It's a perfectly nice room, not hugely inspiring. I have to say, I think you're really missing a trick not using this room all the time. I think we need to look at this room. I have to say, if I'm being very honest, I hate these pink blinds.
Look, that's what you're here for, is to be honest.
I hate it.
I hear what you're saying.
The conservatory could be one of the hotel's best assets, but not in its current state. Next, Ruth is concerned with Sue's prices.
Bit devastating. I think your prices are too high. And one of the things that you don't do, which is glaringly obvious that you should do, is you don't have a high season rate and a low season rate.
No, I have felt it was quite a sales gimmick, if you like, to actually say we don't increase our prices during the summer season.
Right, kind of sales gimmick that gives you empty rooms. It's far better for you to have 6 rooms at £80 a night than it is for you to have 12 rooms at £130 a night empty.
Yes.
Right?
Ruth is alarmed at Sue's lack of business acumen.
You agree you're crap at it. You have got to separate your emotional feelings from this business because that is what it is.
Absolutely accept that.
We've got to get those rooms occupied and we've got to get some newsletters, mail shots out really quickly. Now, I've got one final bombshell to hit you with.
Try me.
I hate the bears.
You don't like teddy bears?
But the thing is, I do like teddy bears. I've got teddy bears myself. I've got a teddy bear called Gaylord, but I'm not going to inflict him on my customers. Just think about it from somebody else's point of view. They could think you're a complete crank. Do you know what I mean? It's just a step.
Maybe I am. Fine, you don't like them, you don't like the idea of it, and you don't think it works. It's the first negative comment I've had.
I would rather you had customers here than bears.
This is highlighted, this visit, that there is too much emotion about what I'm doing here and not enough brain power. Although it's almost like open heart surgery and not having anaesthetic for it. It's a little painful to, if you like, be criticised, but I'm taking it all as constructive criticism and a way forward to try and put my business on the road and on the map again.
The following morning, and Sue has called the staff together to talk about the new regime.
A key point that Ruth has made is that she feels our pricing is too high and that we ought to look at it. I don't know, Adrian, what do you feel?
We are charging a little bit too much, and as we are just slightly out of the city centre, we're not quite as competitive as we are with some of the hotels down in the centre.
Well, now the next shattering blow, the bears in the rooms. I won't tell you the descriptive adjective that she used for the bears. I don't think I'll be allowed to, but she says they've got to go.
If it's going to make an improvement, then let's do it.
Ruth's 3-point plan is simple. First, Sue must lower her prices to be more competitive in the local market. Second, Sue must start to think like a businesswoman, from making the most of her database of former guests to marketing the hotel properly. And finally, there's the faded conservatory that's seen better days, and the bears Ruth thinks might be putting people off. Sue is keen to embrace these instructions and immediately embarks on a thorough market research campaign to see how much her competitors are charging.
Oh, good afternoon. I'm looking for a double bedroom on the 1st and 2nd of March. £90. That's the standard. Would you give me all the prices?
A large double is the next size up, and that's a full-on suite bathroom. And that is £98 a night.
98. Lovely, thank you.
Very welcome.
I had to put on a false voice, and so I know I hate doing this.
My prices are too high for the kind of custom that's being attracted to Bath. So I've changed the pricing levels on the website.
Next, modernising the database and website. Essential if she's going to get more guests through the door.
Oh, hi.
Hi,
Brilliant.
Neil. Thank you so much for this. This is going to be a new world for me. I feel I'm being...
She's called in Neil Edwards to help her get her head around modern hotel computing.
We know that, we've got a problem. My question really is, on the graph of things, are you going down at a gentle glide slope downwards? Are you nosediving, or are you out of control?
All those, actually.
How out of date was she? Light years? Eons? It was actually 9 years out of date.
There's no question that I've missed out a huge slice of the cake in the last year or two, at least. So that's going to improve business enormously.
Now, one
and
problem
won't
is
I be using this at all?
You won't be using that. You've got to put it onto the computers. And why? Why can't you... Every hotel has got to get onto the internet. They've got to be able to take the bookings from the internet and show their availability. If they don't do that, they're dead. It's as simple as that. People are not going into the tourist centres any longer and booking like they used to. They're not booking from the magazines, they're not booking from the papers and other sources. It's the internet. It is the be-all and the end-all.
It's very scary because it's almost, well, like diving off a platform and you're not quite sure how deep the water is and you're just hoping you're going to get into water that's deep enough for you.
It's hard to believe that we're just half a mile from the fabulous shops and attractions.
Her son Xavier is helping to redesign the website and a brochure to send out to former guests.
Home from home is the first concept. Our second route is arrive as a guest, leave as a friend.
I like the home from home suggestion. It's enticing again.
Till now, Sue has struggled to move with the times, but since Ruth's visit, she's been running to catch up.
I think it's time for a change. I'm happy to take on board the Bears, perhaps now. They've had their life here.
2 weeks later, and Ruth has returned to see how Sue and the Tasburgh are getting on.
Well, I can see Sue has still got the vacancy sign out, which is not the greatest news, but never mind. When I left her a couple of weeks ago, she was feeling very enthusiastic, very trepidatious. The problem is going to be on the business side of things. Has she got her head around that? Database, all the things that she needs to do, marketing to get some customers in this place. I should go and see.
Ruth, hello.
Charlie whistling.
Just welcoming you.
How are you, Sue? How are you?
Very well.
So, tell me precisely, what have we been doing? On the business front, database, right. How's that going?
Database, we have now got a new computer with new software because the old software couldn't pick up or use
a new screen?
The software. I've got a new BT line and now on broadband.
Fantastic.
As of a week ago. I have reduced the prices.
Yes.
I was horrified when I looked into what's going on out there and saw my competitors and what they're doing. Oh my goodness.
So you realise why you're empty?
No wonder I haven't had people through the door.
We are making some.
So Sue is making progress in reception. Ruth is eager to see if the bedrooms have moved on.
Shall we start in here, Ruth? This is Wordsworth room.
Now, come on, Sue. It's me that likes beds and you that doesn't like beds.
Absolutely
and the
right.
bloody bear is still on the bed. I just want to know that on my next visit they're not going to be here.
They will be out.
There's something that has gone, which I'm delighted about, the sherry. No sherry.
I've taken the sherry out of the rooms. For the time being, they've come back into the rooms. I did actually take quite a few up to London.
Okay.
We've seen a
Because
lovely
remember,
lady.
it's me. Very
and
good
I
news.
have to say, since the sherry has disappeared, the increase of drink and alcohol consumption has gone up.
Brilliant. One good point, one bad point. Bear.
Bad point, yeah. Last chance.
So long. Let's hope we never meet again.
Sue used to give away a carafe of sherry in each room, but that's gone as part of her new, more business-like regime.
Thank the Lord, the pink blinds have gone. That's great news. That is really, really good to see. I mean, I'd even rather look at an old car out there than that. So,
You mean you didn't like them?
No, I didn't like them.
Right?
And it's just great to get the light and the feel of it, isn't
yes.
it? The thing with this conservatory is we've got to get the garden into it and this into the garden. And let's have this space being used throughout the day. You're an elegant person, so there's no point going down some kind of, you know, very funky bistro kind of route because you wouldn't feel comfortable.
I wouldn't actually, no.
You've got to love it, because if you love it, your customers will love it
And
as
I think
well.
this room needs to be loved by people coming in here. I would like people to come in here and say, wow,
Yes.
I want to be in here, I want to stay in here.
It should work for breakfast, it should work for somebody wanting a cup of tea in the afternoon, it should work on a summer's evening to have some drinks. It should be a very, very, very convivial room, full of light and joy. So if we did the sort of French armoire kind of look, you know, painted a bit distressed.
Yes.
Fabric, and then lovely.
The final item on Ruth's agenda, the new marketing. In particular, the brochure going out to potential guests.
Ruth, my son has prepared 2 proposals. There will be a home from home, or arrive as a guest, leave as a friend.
Oh, God.
I'm not too convinced.
That makes me
about
want to
that one.
vomit.
Oh.
I'm sorry to sound negative, but I think it's too fussy. This has got to be much more punchy, much cleaner, much more the call to action.
And you think otherwise?
They decide to go for the
basic
first
design,
slogan,
taking
a home
away-
from home.
Let's get it out there as soon as possible, because the biggest problem we've got is time.
Yes.
You haven't got enough customers, you've got that bank waiting over you. We have got to do something as quickly as possible. I really need you to all the time be thinking really proactively about how can I get the people in here, what can I be doing, so that you're
Ruth
not
is delighted
reacting
with
to
Sue's
things.
progress. She's implemented everything asked of her. Now it's time to pile on the pressure.
And I'm going to now really throw something at you. I want you to organise an event, party, whatever you like to call it, inviting some of the key people from Bath in the tourist board, all the various luminaries that we need to come here. And you've got 1 week to do it.
Great. Oh, well, it's better than yesterday.
With the vital bank meeting looming, it's essential Sue gets some publicity for the hotel, and a relaunch party will put her firmly back on the map. But will she be able to cope with the pressure?
39 people.
39 acceptances.
Yes.
Yeah, very good.
And
I'm going to lob another 3 in there. So you're going to really
I
be
have
on
to say,
your mettle.
you never cease to amaze me. Jeez. I can't believe this.
This is the Tasburgh House Hotel. Run by former air hostess Sue Keeling for the past 10 years, it's got plenty of awards and plaudits, but almost no guests. With 3 staff and crippling overheads, the Tasburgh is losing money fast, and Sue's bank manager isn't happy.
Last year we made a loss of over £8,000. The situation is rather dire.
She has a crucial meeting with the bank in a matter of weeks. If she can't turn things round before then, it could spell the end of her dream. Sue's hoping salvation rests with expert hotelier and troubleshooter Ruth Watson. Ruth has already asked her to reinvigorate the tired conservatory and lower her prices.
Where she's really letting herself down, and I think where the problem's coming with the prices she's charging, is in value for money.
Most importantly, to get the hotel back on its feet, Sue has to start thinking like a businesswoman, something that doesn't come naturally.
You have got to separate your emotional feelings from this business, because that is what it is.
Absolutely accept that.
Ruth has challenged Sue to host a party to celebrate the hotel's relaunch and garner her vital publicity.
I must admit that I was a bit daunted when Ruth first suggested my doing it, and I always fear that you ask a lot of people and only maybe 1 or 2 will be able to come, and that's really a big disaster.
Nicola, hello. It's Sue at the Tasburgh Hotel. Martin, hello. We're actually having a little cocktail party on Monday. Thought it would be lovely if you could spare just an hour to come down and join us. Love you to come and have a look and see what's happening here. And I'd love you to come. It would be lovely if you could manage it. Gorgeous.
Sue hasn't restricted herself to phone bashing.
Oh boy, I've been seen on a few streets in Bath. After Ruth gave me this enormous challenge to be more proactive, I've been down to the Tourist Information Centre and invited the girls down there. Alison.
Hi, Sue. Nice to see you, Sue. Hi, fine, thank you. And you?
I've come with an invitation, actually.
The strain is relentless.
There is pressure. I'm trying to do the swan act, you know, look calm on the top, and actually I'm paddling away underneath. Can I do this? Can I pull this off?
Sue's also called in a team of decorators to update the conservatory and make it a real asset.
It's all very, very exciting as to what's going on in the hotel now. I mean, it's as if I waved a magic wand or I had a magical wish, and the wish was that somebody would come and just make this hotel work for me so that the bank wouldn't call me in. And what's happening now is just amazing. It's all so very exciting, but it's that absolute chaos.
But not all the changes are running so smoothly. Sue is still struggling to get to grips with the tools of the modern hotelier.
The downside, if there were a downside about this, is that I've got a new system on the computer, and it's a little bit like suddenly being plunged in the middle of Russia, and I've never spoken a word of Russian. And here I've got to communicate. I printed off an invoice this morning for a gentleman who stayed 5 days, and it said it had been here 32 days. It's really, really hard to get a grip of it.
2 days later, and it's time for the all-important party. The bank meeting is closer than ever, so Sue must make a great impression and turn the hotel's fortunes around.
Well, today's the big day, really, of the cocktail party. My stomach is full of butterflies because I feel there's a deadline and there is still so much to do.
The party's centrepiece, the revamped conservatory, has gone from tired pink to a soothing green. It has a calm garden feel which ties in with the hotel's terrace. Ruth is due to arrive any minute. Sue's anxious about her reaction to all the changes.
I suppose you kind of suddenly feel that your mistress is watching you doing your homework. And that's when you spill the ink all over it, isn't it, you know?
Ruth has one last surprise in store for Sue.
I'm back at Tasburgh and really hoping the conservatory's finished because we're having a cocktail party there. Now, Sue knows all about that, and she knows we've invited some luminaries, but what she doesn't know is I've sneakily invited 3 travel writers. One of them comes from a very, very important British national newspaper, and 2 from American guides. How she's going to take the news, I don't know. Sue! Hello! Ah,
Ruth!
Hello!
Hello, how are you?
All right, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Are you making big phone calls?
I am. I'm just trying to trace one of the guests. So I think we have 39 people.
39 acceptances.
Yes.
Yeah, very good.
And
I'm going to lob another 3 in there.
Oh, I don't know if I can cope.
Okay, let me tell you who they are. We've got
Just
2 travel writers coming. One from Foders.
Oh!
Yeah. And one from us. And we've got the independent travel editor as well, Simon Calder. So you're going to really be on your mettle.
You never cease to amaze me. Foders and Fodders.
Yeah.
The 2 US travel guides, Foders and Frommers, are key to Sue winning back American guests.
Okay, and you're not panicking?
Do I look as if I'm panicking?
Slight air of losing the plot, but...
No, I think timing-wise, I've got just about 2 hours now to get the party up and running, ready to go.
You haven't. 1 hour, 15 minutes, because the 3 travel writers are coming at 5 o'clock.
You're full of surprises, Ruth, I'll give you that much.
You'll cope, you'll cope, you'll cope. You will, you will.
Jeez. I can't believe this. Shit. Oh.
Ruth ventures upstairs to check the rooms she's booked for the travel journalists.
Hello, you must be Mary.
Yeah, hello.
I've heard all about you.
Right.
Now, what is this guy ghastly creature doing in here? Because this is where one of the American travel writers are coming. I want to take her somewhere and bury her.
Really?
It's awful. It's like a lampshade on her head. Do you like these bears, Mary?
I do, personally, but then I like teddy bears, so I'm a little bit, you know...
Yeah.
But I can understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. I think she's gross. I really do.
Look, I'll put her in the cupboard out the way then. There we are, look. We'll put Teddy with Teddy. Keep each other company through the night, look.
Piss off.
5 o'clock and the first American guest has arrived. Leslie writes for Travel Guide from us, and her recommendation could ensure Sue wins back vital American business.
Hi.
You must be Leslie. I'm Leslie. Leslie, I'm Sue.
Nice to meet you, Sue.
So good of you to come.
Well, it's my pleasure.
Yeah. So here's your room. And I hope this is okay
Oh,
for
it's
you.
beautiful.
Look
at that view. First of all, she was extremely welcoming and pleasant, and you can tell that she's had some training in dealing with people. She has that ease and grace that I think is very important to a hotel.
Some more early guests. Not another surprise, huh?
Sue's barely had a chance to gather her thoughts before the next arrival.
You must be Christy.
Hello.
Christy, thank you so much for coming. Welcome. I'm Sue. Can you manage your bag? Are you okay?
Oh, I'm
We've
fine.
got plenty of muscle around if you'd like it carried up for you. Even though you may be representing business tonight, I'd like you to feel you're on holiday, okay?
Thank you very much.
Christy is a writer for Fodas, the second key US publication. Sue used to be featured in Christie's guide and wants to find out why she was dropped.
Let me just ask you just quickly. I was taken out of the guidebook and I was really devastated.
Yeah.
And I presume that must be something awful that we did, but I never did find out.
No, it happened a couple of years ago before I was on the guidebook. It was primarily because this place was not quite worth the money.
While Sue grills one writer, Ruth shows Leslie around the hotel.
And this is the Bronte room, eh?
Yeah. This is nice. It's got a nice king-size bed.
This is not actually king size by American standards.
It's not.
This is queen size, perhaps.
Queen size, yeah, we'll agree on queen.
You should go next.
This is good. Now, Leslie, what do you think of this room?
I thought the bears have to go.
Special guest at the cocktail party is the Bill actress Roberta Taylor, in town to launch her autobiography.
Roberta. Oh, hello. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. It's just lovely of you to come.
Thanks very much.
As the clock ticks down, the kitchen bustles with final preparations. Ruth has a special guest of her own, the travel editor of The Independent, Simon Calder.
This is her kind of more formal drawing room.
Yeah, it is very conventional.
Yes, it's that kind of country house hotel kind of look.
Well, yes, except that for the Americans, and presumably with the museum up the hill and all the attractions of Bath, they love it, don't they?
Not for me, though. To be honest, I think of my mother. And I think, when my mom liked this place, my mom would love this place.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or lady and gentlemen. How do you know? I'm Toby.
I know Toby.
And you are?
John Carter from Bath.
Yes. All right, let me...
The party starts well. Sue's in her element as the hostess. The American writers are soaking up the atmosphere and joining in the party spirit. Even the local press is here. The canapes are a hit with the party girls.
Thank you. Well done, girls, so far. It's going well. Keep them flowing, though, because next round coming out. Lovely, well done.
Can I ask, are Americans looking for places like this?
The problem is, this place, which is, say, £120 a night, is completely reasonable to somebody paying pounds. But in dollars, that's $250 a night. If this place was, say, £85 or £90 a night, I think it would be packed with Americans every night of the week. Because, I mean, obviously this whole style of hotel doesn't really exist in America, where most Americans do most of their travel.
How unique is it, and what's going to persuade you to put it in one of your guides?
That's a really good question.
Have another glass of champagne. Think about that.
So what is Simon's verdict?
The great thing is that there's been such warmth, which I think really goes back to Sue's genuinely nice personality. She is so nice that, of course, everybody likes her. And she just needs to make a couple of calls, get a few people in, and she's going to fill the place up. There'll be such warmth, such good feeling.
Sue was obviously very nervous, and I think Sue was very shocked about how much affection these people have for her and care about this house, this hotel and her life.
The Tasburgh is firmly back on the Bath map.
The party's been a huge success. Sue has done her victory dance. All her friends and family have loved it. They've loved the conservatory, they've loved what's been happening here. They think it's all done and dusted. The problem is it hasn't been done and dusted. Sue has just started on the first circuit of a marathon. What Sue has to understand is that this is the tiniest blip at the beginning of a very, very long journey.
Next morning, travel writers Leslie and Christy enjoy breakfast in the revamped conservatory.
Banana porridge, maple syrup and banana porridge.
No, full English.
There you go. Too strong. I like that.
Brown toast, white toast, mix it for you?
Mix, I think.
But after a night at the Tasburgh, do they think Sue's done enough to get into their guidebooks?
Hi, good morning. Now, for two such eminent American guides to be here is a real coup for Sue. Straight to the bottom line, nitty-gritty. She hasn't been in your guides. She's been missing her American clientele. Would you consider putting her back in?
I would recommend that the hotel be included in the guide next year. I will recommend that. I think it's a worthwhile place to include. It's a lovely building. She's a great hotelier.
That's great. And what about from us?
Yes, absolutely. I think this is a very nice option to a place in town. And I love her. I think she's great.
That's terrific news. Because, you know, she might not be very good at making money out of this, and she might be rubbish at marketing and all those things, but she is a totally natural host. And I think, you know, this place is the biggest asset, is Sue. Sue!
Ruth, how
the
are you?
Morning after a very successful party.
What was it?
Yes, because just speaking to the Frummers and the Foders, they're going to put you back in the guides. Very happy with what you're doing. All in all, they think this is a very nice building. It's a good location. They thought you were marvellous, so that's really, really good. Now, I want to just burst the bubble totally. This is about being a business. You have got to understand what this business costs you to run. It has got to be cost effective, and you have got to embrace the business side of it. You've got the meeting with the bank before I come back, which is a real heavy-duty one.
Yes.
But the major thing, Suzanne, is to get a handle on the business. End of lecture.
1 year on, will the bears be homeless? And will Sue have been able to keep her head above water?
Are the bank happier?
18 months ago, Sue Keeling asked Ruth Watson to help save her ailing hotel from the jaws of bankruptcy.
Before Ruth arrived, we were running it at roughly 35 to 41% occupancy. And that wasn't enough to even survive.
It was a bit desperate for us all. I mean, we were all wondering whether we were going to keep our jobs or not.
But has Ruth's advice brought the Tasburgh back from the brink? And has Sue discovered a head for business? A year and a half after her last visit, Ruth returns to Bath to find out. And she's dressed for the occasion.
Well, there's an enormous amount of building activity in the car park. I'm hoping this is a good sign because it says no vacancies up at the top. And if Sue needs all these car parking spaces, the possibility is that she's much busier than she was when I came before.
Ruth.
Hello.
How lovely to see you. Excuse me. Have we got a Bobby Dazzler?
I thought a little jolly jape.
Well, that's very flattering. For someone who doesn't like bears.
No,
it's lovely to see you.
Remember, I like bears, you don't like bears. This is the irony of it all. I saw these in Paris.
2 bears.
2 little bears. And the reason I had to buy them was partly because if I see a bear, I think of you. And also because they're candles, so you can burn them and get rid of the bloody things. Anyway, how are things? I'm very excited because the car park leads one to believe that you've got more customers.
We have.
Yeah?
It's absolutely fantastic. I have to say, your advice, without seeming completely humble, which I am, has been fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
I'm really pleased. So in general,
so
things
exciting.
are going well.
Yes, very well.
Yeah,
Extremely
lovely.
well. Far better than I'd ever hoped for.
Can I see round? Yes,
please,
love
come
to
with
see
me.
what you've been doing.
When Ruth was last at the Tasburgh, the thorny issue of the bear's future was still unresolved. But has Ruth's gift added to the bear population, or have they left to find another home?
Now I see there's a teddy bear.
Surprise, surprise.
Did you keep all the bears?
I'm afraid so, Ruth.
Yes. But do you
I'd
think
say there
there
was
more?
only about a 5% actual feedback of people being negative about them.
Yeah.
And I immediately responded and said, no problem, we'll take the bear out. Just let us know.
Yeah. I love the fact that you've got him out of the way and not on the bed. It just felt very oppressive and as if he mattered too much. Do you know what I mean?
A little bit too intrusive.
Yes,
You
yeah.
have to-
And I
yes,
think sort of
fair
just
enough.
tucking them in the corners is absolutely fine. And I think you'd be mad now to take them out.
The bears are finally in their proper place, and better still, they're now outnumbered by guests. Occupancy levels have risen from the paltry 35% to a very healthy 85%. The once sad conservatory is now bustling with clientele. The Tasburgh has got so busy, Sue's had to employ her daughter Antonia to manage it.
I was managing a small wine bar and pizzeria, and now I'm here with Sue. Fortunately, since Ruth's been to visit, Sue actually needs an extra pair of hands, and so it's perfect for us.
Business is looking up. But when Ruth left Sue 18 months ago, a vital bank meeting was looming on the horizon. She desperately needed to show a turnaround in her dismal figures to avoid bankruptcy. But had she done enough?
Are the bank happier?
Well, they are actually.
Good. And you're
Yes.
getting their support.
Yes,
That's
at
fantastic.
competitive
That's what you need.
levels.
And that does show that they have trust in you and believe that you now are, you know, running the
Well, they
the
can
place
see it in the
effectively.
figures now.
Yeah,
So-
brilliant.
Good relations with the bank and a dramatic rise in occupancy rates are both changes for the better. And the Tasburgh's branched out into more than just hospitality. The hotel now hosts events and demonstrations to packed audiences of tourists and locals.
It needs a vigorous hand. Quite naughty chocolate. Oh, that's a nice generous one. Oh, Jenny, well done. Yeah.
The hotel's fortunes may have been transformed, but is Sue still business phobic?
Sue, there's never been any question in my mind that you're a great hostess, and that's always been your strength, hospitality. And business was always your weak point. And I'm thrilled to hear occupancy's up, and I'm thrilled to hear that you seem to be taking some interest in the business side of things. Is that right?
Oh,
Are
yes.
you?
Yes,
Did you
yes.
get an accountant, for example?
I have a new accountant who's actually made me realise that figures can be exciting, especially if it's your own business.
Yeah. So the bank's happy, your accountant's providing you with good budgets and targets that you're trying to follow. You've got your eye on the marketing. I'm just thrilled that you and the bears seem to be doing all right.
It really is a big thank you to you
that's very
for all your advice
Yeah.
and giving me a lot more self-confidence to go and make sure that we can actually provide for the guest as well as actually survive.
So you're kind of a fully fledged hotelier now?
Fully fledged. Well, we're still working on it, okay?
I think
Still
you've
room for
spread your wings.
expanse.
I think you've left the nest. I think you're flying.
Thank you, Ruth, anyway. That's very kind of you to say so.
The Tasburgh is soaring to dizzy new heights, but has a full house made Sue happier?
Yeah, I think Sue is much happier now. She's far more relaxed in what she's doing, and I think Sue enjoys it more.
She's changed a lot. She's harder, more focused, but in a very positive way.
If Ruth hadn't come to the rescue here, I hate to think where I'd be now. I think Ruth has saved the business, and I can see the future of highly successful business.
Well, Tasburgh is quite obviously on the up. Occupancy is much improved, and Sue really seems as if she's got a handle on the business as well as the hospitality aspect of things. This is great news, but I still want her to remain focused on the fact that she must guard her overheads, she must make sure staff wages costs stay in line with her turnover. At the end of the day, she's got to be profitable. There's never been any doubt that she is a marvellous hostess, and I think if she carries on like this, Tasburgh and the Bears are ensured of very, very great success.
Now, if you want to see and hear some more juicy bits from Ruth's visit to the Tasburgh, then you can over on 5 Life Next in the Hotel Inspector Unseen. Here on 5 Next, the season finale of Californication.